Our dear children, I welcome you to this great program of e-learning. I'm going to take you through mathematics, and today we are going to start on a theme that is our sub-county stroke division. Our topic is going to be fractions, and our subtopic is naming fractions. Lesson, we are going to look at what we call naming shaded fractions. Before going any further, we have to understand what a fraction is. So, my dear children, a fraction, we are going to say what about a fraction. The question can come and it is saying, what is a fraction? What is a fraction? We simply define this term as a fraction is a part of a whole. We say a fraction is a part of a whole. A fraction is a part of a whole. I know that you always share with your friends. For example, if you have a bread and you share 2 tosses of bread from what you have, it means that you have shared 2 parts out of the whole. That one means a fraction. Fraction simply means a part of a whole. So, my dear learners, let us see our chart here. We are going to name the shaded fraction, and the heading saying naming shaded fractions. This is what we see, this is what we write, and this is what we read. So I want you there to follow what is here. Here is a, you know very well this figure. Here is a circle. It is shaded. The whole part of it is shaded. It means that what do we write? We write 1. That is a whole. We have shaded all of it. So how do we read it? We read it as a whole, all, 1 whole. We go to the next one. It is saying, we see these fractions divided into 2 equal parts. So it means that we do write 1 because we have shaded only 1 part. So we write 1 out of the 2 parts, because when you count, they are 2. Let's count 1 and 2. So it means that we read it as a half, or we can say 1/2. Yes, we go to part C, and that part C is having 3 equal parts. They shaded only 1 part out of 3 equal parts. So it means that we are going to write 1 out of the 3 parts. So how do we read this one? We read it as a third, or 1/3. Here is a challenge. It is saying part D. The question is, name the unshaded fraction D. We are going to name the unshaded one. Here we have been naming the shaded fractions only. But here the question is saying, name the unshaded fraction D. How are we going to name this unshaded fraction? How many parts are unshaded? Out of these 4 parts, how many parts are unshaded? Yes, they are It is only one part which is unshaded, so we write is as one part which is unshaded. Out of how many parts were there? 1, 2, 3, 4. We say out of 4. How do we read this one? Here, remember we say we see, we write, and we read. How do we read this? This one, we read it as a quarter. Here is how we read it. A quarter. A quarter. That's how we read it. So we read this fraction as a quarter. I have some questions for you. I have some activity for you. I'm going to give you activity. Activity. And the activity 1 is saying, write these fractions in words. Write these fractions write these fractions in words. Number 1 is saying, part 1 is saying 1 out of 4. Let us write this fraction in words. Another one is saying 1 out of 2. This is the second one. 1 out of 2. Another one, the third one is saying 1 out of 9. So write these fractions in words. So I understand that my children who are there, you can now read these fractions and write them in words. From our examples, you can easily write them. Another one, I'll give you what fraction. This was number 1. Number 2, I'll say what fraction is shaded. What fraction is shaded? So I am going to give you 8 parts. I am going to give you 8 parts. Hope you have seen this as our example. Let us get our trial numbers and we are going to do them together. These are trial numbers. Trial numbers. Trial numbers, I can say right is fractions in words. Write these fractions in words. One of the fractions that I'm going to give you is 1 out of 4. We have the fraction as 1 out of 4. How do we write this fraction in words? So, what do we say? We say this is called a quarter. A quarter. This is the fraction 1 out of 4. We can say it is a quarter. Or because here we are saying that a whole, all 1 whole, a half, all 1 half. a third or 1/3. Here we can say a quarter or 1/4. 1/4. That's what you can say, a quarter or 1/4. Another triangle number that I'm going to give you is what fraction is shaded? What fraction is shaded? Let me give you the fraction. They have shaded only one part. So what fraction is shaded? Let's first count how many parts are there in this figure. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are 6 parts. But how many parts are shaded? Only one. So we shall say it is 1 out of the 6 parts. So how do we read this one? We read it as 6. We read it as 6. All we can say 1/6. 1/6. So that's how we can read this one. We can read it as a 1/6 or 1/6. So my children who are viewing, I thank you for your participation, and I thank you for you have been on the activity. You are going to receive it immediately after this lesson. I thank you very much.